Do you think is social media bad?
I mean, I don't think so. But
Yeah, maybe that's not the right term.
no.
Like at a certain point like how much, there's been like studies done where it's like doom scrolling and stuff like that can lead to depression, that sort of thing. Like, what do you think about that? Like,
Yeah, so look, I mean, we obviously study this stuff pretty carefully.
You guys do?
Yeah, I mean, we study it. We work with academics to study it. As you can imagine, there's a lot of like media coverage of this stuff that's like very sensationalist, that tries to like have a skewed point of view.
Right.
My understanding of the current state of the research is that there isn't kind of a conclusive finding that this is negative for people's well-being. So I think that's, and in general, some of the stuff that ends up being positive for people is building relationships. So there's sort of the media part of social media, and there's the social part of social media. I think the interacting with people, to the extent that that's helping you build good relationships, I mean, friendships and good relationships is one of the things that correlates the most strongly with positive well-being and like feeling good about your life and all that. The media stuff, I mean, I think that's more entertaining. I think you can, people want things that are fun, right?
Yeah,
and
people want to be entertained,
it
for
doesn't
sure.
necessarily like correlate with good well-being or bad well-being. But I guess like the way that I think about this stuff is that it's our modern online environment is it's just an environment in which we live in a way that has pros and cons, like whether you live in a city or a rural place, right? It's like, okay, like some people may prefer living in a city. There's like things that are good about a city. There are things that are bad about a city, okay? Like the fact that we went from being primarily offline as a society to now like this kind of hybrid, kind of physical and digital reality. There's some things that are better about that, some things that are maybe less good. It's not that every single thing improves at each step along the way, but I think overall, it's kind of the overall effect is significant improvement, and I just don't see a way that people would want to like go back to not having services where they can get the content that they're interested in and where stuff is personalized to them and where they can communicate with the people who they want and don't need to like be constrained to just the people who are physically around them. It's just, I mean, like we're just, we're not going back to that. And if you look throughout history, it's like when people like first built cities, there were all these, there's a lot of kind of nostalgia for the simpler life and things like that. It's like, okay, yeah. And yeah, sure. Maybe cities aren't better in every single way, and some people might prefer to kind of only go sometimes or whatever. But I just think it's like we're building more and more capabilities as society, and I think that's sort of I just think about this stuff more as like an environment in which we live. We talked about this a little bit with the fighting stuff early on, but for me, it's always just been important that it's like I don't just want to like be a person who like sits and works all the time. I think like we're not like meant to just sit at a desk all day long, and one day Oreo will learn that. But I think like a lot of life is like you move around. You like it's like we're like meant to be active and do stuff, and I think that that's a big part of it. And I try to like it's important to me that the kids get that too, and the kids are very active.
Mm-hmm. Do your kids have a lot of like screen time? Like how much screen time do you allow your kids?
Yeah, it's different for the different ones. We don't just like let them do whatever, but I actually like want them to be fluent with this stuff, and like kind of like we talked about earlier. I want them to learn how to code, how to use technology. I think it's important because a lot of socialization, obviously like happens online at this point. Like people need to get used to the norms and stuff around that. So I mean, they're still too young to be using like social media, but they have Messenger kids. We make it so that they can video chat and chat with their friends, and we'll obviously monitor to make sure that they're just connecting with the people who we think that they should. But like I think it's actually good. I think people need to kind of grow up. I don't need to is strong, but I think it's good if you have an engaged parent and they and as a child you learn up you kind of grow up learning how to use a bunch of this stuff. So I think that's all good. I want the kids to the extent that they're interested in it to learn how to code, learn how to create stuff, whether it's in like Horizon or VR tools, or they play, Roblox and Minecraft and stuff like that. I think that's good. And then, there's a lot of educational study type tools that, when our daughter's studying for her competitions or whatever, she can kind of make a lot of progress on that. So I think that stuff is good, but we're not just like letting them just kind of sit and watch stuff all day long.
So you think
unless you're on a plane, then you do whatever you need to do to get through that flight.
Yeah. Thank you, dude. Somebody else needs to say that.
Yeah, no, it's
when do we come out with that pacifier that really shuts these kids down for a couple hours? I'm not saying it has to be anything crazy, nothing illegal, but we need a high voltage pacifier back in society, Mark.
Oh man.
Give us something, brother.
Yeah.
These kids are screaming.